Put the mini band around your toes. These are called up and outs, and what we want to do is imagine we're stepping over something like a beach ball, and you go each way and take your time and balance through the transition. Shift your weight to the foot that you're going to so that your hips are moving. Bring the knee in, up, over, and down. Mini band. Around the toes, all we want to do is establish a little bit of balance here, and so I'm gonna lift my knee and raise my arms and get into a rhythm and try to lift as high as you can and really get as much separation of this knee from that knee, using the arms to assist that process. This is a little tricky, only because if you put it around your toe, sometimes it'll slide off. If you put it around your ankle, sometimes it'll slide up, but it's a nice movement. So we're going to do a split stance, meaning split from front to back, and I'm going to do a lateral walk. I'm going to move to my left here with the back foot leading, as much split from the front to back as I can manage, and after I do a certain number of repetitions, I want to do that the other way. So the movement is keep your toes aligned and keep your balance, cross as much as you can, and then swing that foot behind you. So we're working a lot on hips here. I have the mini band around both toes, and what I want to do is point and really put my left toe into the floor. I'm kneeling now, and I want to extend this leg and point that toe. And then this is just a flutter kick. Just a nice extended leg kick. What we don't want to do is turn the toe out, because then that externally rotates the femur. We want to really feel this all the way up into your hip and butt. This is a flutter kick. There we go. I'm going to skip laterally with the band around my toes. I'm going to do 3 to the left and 3 to the right. And since I'm starting to my left, I'm going to use this left toe as my rhythm foot. So I'm going to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use a med ball, but you could use almost anything that approximates this weight. This is 6 pounds. What I want to do to begin with is chop vertically, straight down, lift straight up so that it goes over the top of my head, and then I'm going to twist. What I don't want to do is throw it over my shoulder here. We can do that some other time. What we're doing is a vertical chop, lift, and a twist. And as you twist, your offside heel has to come off the ground. So you allow that to happen, and that protects your back. Vertical chop and alternating twist. Now working a little bit in the frontal plane, I'm going to hold the ball over here at 10 o'clock and make a giant circle all the way around to 2 o'clock and then reverse it. So I have to decelerate the weight here and move through the range of motion. This is alternating giant circles. This is called alternating diagonal chop and lift. I want to chop to one side, and I can use this other leg as a balance stabilizer. So I can drop that toe back and touch the ground. If I'm feeling like my balance is really on, I can try to manage this, balancing, sort of riding the glide ski. These are figure 8s, but we tip them. We call them lazy 8s, and we do them 2 directions. One, the ball is descending across the front and ascending up the side. This is a descending lazy 8. You want to turn your head with your hands, and you want to obviously let your back heel rotate through the movement. And after I've done a certain half number of the reps, now I'm going to lift These are ascending lazy eights. So you're really driving this with your hips and working to lift the ball as it goes across your chest. And this is called the arc. What I want to do here is bring the ball all the way down behind my right knee, bring it up over the top, and finish behind my left knee. And I need to move my feet to do that. And as I get going, I can even try to balance or not as I need to. Those are called arcs. A movement puzzle. We're going to do 2 forward jumps. And I'm going to try to land that second jump in a way that I can bound to the inside. So 2 jumps, 1 lateral bound. We go jump, jump, bound, jump, jump, bound, and continue. I'm going to bound 3 times and hop straight up. And so I want to make sure of the landing here. I always want to make sure that I'm really in a strong position when I land the bounds or the hop. So triple bound and hop up. I'm going to go bound, 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 hop, bound, 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 and hop, bound, 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 hop, and continue. Here's a simple Nordic pole swing. I want to swing down as I do the squat. I'm parallel stance, but of course we could do this from a staggered stance or even a split stance. But I'm going to swing down and then I want to really drive. I want to throw the dumbbells up high with the drive of the hips. This is parallel stance squat with 2-arm Nordic poles. 2 dumbbells, parallel stance. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to lift this arm up, and I want to drive this arm back. So this is the offside hand coming up. We call this twist and cross, offside hand up. But the arm on the same side goes to work driving backwards to help facilitate the movement. Now we start in a plank position and we're using the dumbbells as handles. They need to be right under the shoulders. We don't want them out here. We want to be nice and strong, straight up and down. Get to a good plank position first, and then roll and row. Put the dumbbell down, roll and row, alternate side. This is prone plank, alternating side row. Here's a twist on the Nordic pole swings. This time when I squat down, I'm going to lift. You're going to find this is kind of a disconnected movement, and it's pretty hard on the shoulders. So start with really lightweight dumbbells. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to squat down and lift up as I descend. That's the movement. It's kind of a Nordic pole movement, but it's done kind of twisted. Then a parallel stance. This is twist and cross. We've done it with the offside hand coming up. Now we're going to do it with the offside hand coming down, which means that the near side hand, the side I'm rotating to, has got to get out of the way. So it's going to go up. So it looks like this and this. Almost looks like, when you get here, it almost looks like the top of a golf swing or a slap shot in hockey. Here's a movement we've done with a dumbbell already, or a med ball. This is a lazy 8, so we're tipping that 8 on its side. We're going to do it. I've got the attachment up high. I've got a strong stance. I want fairly straight arms, and I want to descend as it comes across my body, and I can add resistance to this pretty easily just by getting farther away from the point of attachment, or I can use a heavier cable. But nice strong movement here, and again, you always turn your head to follow the action, because otherwise this becomes just arms. And what we want is we want all of this all the way down all the way up. This is descending lazy eights. I have the attachment up high here, and I'm facing away. I want to come up on my toes, and I want to stay there. I want to make sure my heels don't hit the ground, but I also want to make sure my nose doesn't hit the ground or my knees don't hit the ground. This is a forward-leaning squat. I call it a sprinter's squat because you want to be in this tall sprinter's posture, and you want to be on your toes. So you use the cables to assist you in that balance. You might need to reach out here to hold your balance and bring them back in as you come up, but you stay on your toes, the heels never touch the ground, and you come up. Forward-leaning sprinter's squats. Here I've put the attachment point down low. Remember, if you've got a device like this can save your equipment. It can also save your wall. If I let go, I at least have something that can arrest this. So that's a good idea to use. Now what I'm going to do is the lazy eight, but this time, since I've got it down low, I want to ascend and then drop. So I'm swinging up and across my chest and then dropping along the sides, using fairly straight arms with this. So I'm creating kind of a distal load, which puts more stress on the core. We want to always make sure that those feet are active. Ascending lazy eights. Using a single handle with the attachment point up high, what I want to do now is I want to do a giant circle, and I'm going to initiate the circle going over the top. So I'm going to step and go way down here then, and when I come through, I want to pivot and do another one facing the other way. So I'm moving, and after I've done half the reps, then I'm going to go down low and finish at the top. So there's a nice little athletic change of feet right here, and you want to sort of dance with this, make it graceful rather than robotic. The basic squat, parallel stance, squat to toe raise. I like to include a touch on the floor because that means that we're going to get down low here. Come up tall, finish tall. And to do this with the toe raise at the end, this should take about 1 rep per second when you get moving. Here is an alternating forward lunge with a twist. The lunge that we do does not include a back knee bend. It's a straight, strong leg and a strong connection as you reach across. Step all the way back to standing. Step out, balance, twist, and reach to the floor. Now this is a 12-inch step, and you will adjust the size of the step based on where you are in your training program. I'm going to do an alternating forward step up. And what I want to do here is put my full foot on the box, jump up as high as I can, change feet in the air, and barely touch ground here. I don't want a lot of weight on the back foot. So we're here, and alternating forward step up. A basic jump squat with a floor touch to emphasize that we want to squat to touch the floor rather than bend to touch the floor. Jump up and land as softly as you can manage. So, touch, jump, and listen to your feet. You don't want to hear that. We'll add weight to the leg circuit now. We're going to reduce the reps way down from 20 to 3. Or 3 per side if we do alternate side things. So we've got a total of 6. What I want to do here is keep this weight closely centered. I want to balance on one foot. I want to take my time and go down, touch the floor, come up and recover. So this is a balanced forward bend with the back leg extending, and I like to throw this little high knee lift at the end. Here is a lateral lunge with a twist. And there's an important knee protection instruction here. When I lunge this way, if I don't think about this foot, it's going to want to do that. That puts my knee at risk. We don't want that to happen. We want to have that foot flat. So think about keeping your ski flat on the snow. And then I'll reach out here, push back, reach out, reach across. This is lateral lunge twist, and the push-off foot stays flat and engaged, and this leg straightens. Again, with weight added to our leg circuit movement, I'm going to do a single leg hop up. A hop is one leg to the same foot, so I'm going to stay on my right foot using the weight here. If I want, I could actually lift it up over my head as I go up. That helps increase the tension in the core. So I'm going to go right foot on. I'm going to hop up. There's the reps. This is a skater squat. We do it weighted and unweighted. This time adding the resistance in the form of 2 dumbbells. What I want to do now is I want to go down and touch the floor and come up, and I'm alternating. Notice that my center of gravity is not drifting out. It's staying centered right over the base foot. The other leg is sliding out like a ski motion. Using resistance, we're going to do a rotational lunge twist. This foot's going to stay pointing straight ahead. I'm going to turn and touch and come back. Turn, touch, and come back. You could even, just with one dumbbell, reach across, and the other dumbbell could be actively raised behind you if you're using dumbbells. This is the transverse lunge. Using weight in our mini leg circuits, you can use them in any leg circuit, but they do change the dynamic. What I'm going to do is travel across the face of the box, alternating laterally, so I can be here and so think of, if you're using dumbbells, the double pull action fits. I'm just going to do some simple jumps going from a narrow stance to a wide stance. Narrow to wide. Land as softly as you can. Touch down, whether you're using a med ball or dumbbells. Dumbbells are nice. Okay, band around the toes. This is a lot of times what we do. We do our movements with the mini bands on the ground after you've skied or trained hard or bounded or done a speed session, because balance is kind of shot at that point. What we'd really rather work is hip strength. So what I do here is called pedal pushers. I want to take a wide stance and I want to alternately push the pedals. So it's almost like you're pushing your feet around a trash barrel. So one comes up and stays out as you extend the other one. These are called pedal pushers, and it's kind of more comfortable if you just let your head lie back and do the reps. Slow is good here. You don't need to race through these. Here's the setup. The band's around my left knee and my right toe. I'm just going to lay down with this perpendicular, and what I'm going to do now is extend my right leg, and as I do that, I'm going to bring this arm over and reach toward the floor. So this is an oppositional movement. Right leg extending, right arm reaching for the floor, and your anchor point is very strong here, but it can take a little bit of the hair off your leg. Now with the same setup that we did in a previous move where we've got the band around one thigh and the other toe, I'm going to kneel on that thigh anchored position. I'm going to extend this leg, and now what I'm going to do is swing that leg side to side as far as I can go, side to side. Try to keep your hips relatively level with the ground and swing the leg, really extending it the whole time. And then you would repeat on the other side. This is a new variation on what I like to call a finishing set. Just as we want to prepare to train or prepare to compete, I think it's important to prepare to recover. And we do that post-training by doing something like this. And what this is designed to do is, number one, feel good, and number two, effectively put all your toys back where they're supposed to be so that recovery can take place with a minimum of the delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS. We want to minimize that so we can train well the next day. This first movement is a big split squat, back leg straight. We always want to think about that back leg being really straight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to descend and I'm going to bring my inside arm, outside arm, down and back, and continue to lower and rotate. And then I can just alternate that by twisting, straighten those back legs, really get the stretch along the front side of the hip. And this swimming action is very nice for stretching and working on the fascia around the iliopsoas. Now we want to work on the muscles on the back side of the leg. So I'm going to take a staggered stance, meaning I'm just going to drop this toe so that it is in line with the heel. I'm going to go down and anchor this movement with my fingertips. They stay connected to the floor. These toes on the forward foot are really having to be active here. What I want to do now is flex and extend and really push these toes and both heels into the floor. And I'm going to get it, in most cases, you're all going to find that you're going to get a nice stretch along the back side of your leg, your hamstring muscles. So we do a few of these. We do 2 or 3 easy extend and flex. You don't want to ask for too much too soon. And then take the tension off and then externally rotate the foot and go down and repeat. And be careful, when you first do it, you're going to feel this in a different place and in a different way. This is the same movement with an external rotation of the femur. And then we, of course, want to go internal and do the same thing on that side. Now we've hit all 3 neutral, external, and internal rotation hamstring. With a wide stance, feet strong and anchored, I'm going to do a one-side lateral squat. So I'm going to my right with this hip, but this hand is going to reach down my other shin towards my ankle. And you'll find, especially skate skiers, you'll find that this is a great way to restore and protect the adductors, the insides of your thighs and groins. So this is just go one way, reach the other. Go slowly, because you never know how tight you are or how tight a roller ski or something like that may have left your muscles, and you don't want to cramp. Here's a movement that does nice things for the outside of your hips. I'm going to use this wall to support my balance. I'll cross my left foot over my right knee, and using my right hand as the wall anchor, I'll go down here now, and now pushing gently down on this knee, I'm going to extend my hips back away from the wall and then bring my knee closer to it. So I'm in this forward bend position, and the real movement is happening at my ankle and my knee and my hip. This is a cross-footed, wall-supported flex and extend. Now, with my shoulder right at the wall, I'm going to bring this inside foot way forward, back foot back, and the heel extending down. What I want to do now is do this squat, this single leg or split squat, and add the rotation with the arms. So I want to turn and look at the back hand and then really extend, keeping my back leg ramrod straight as we can keep it. So you get the stretch all across here. So we're here and up. Rotate and up. And your hands are stabilizing you. They're also assisting you get deeper into the rotational movement. And you do this on both sides. Here's a movement that we do with the stick as a driver. If you don't have a stick, this works well. You're standing and you're slightly apart. You're close to the wall. What I want to do now is twist and bring my offside hand way up. Let the offside heel go and use the back hand to really bring me more fully into that rotational movement. It's nicely supported. That helps the balance. And stay in that spot where you start to feel all these things open up, Because after a long ski, things might tighten up and you might need to restore that range of motion.